Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 58.
I don't know why we're still counting.
Cast because Nick, it's a challenge to see how long we can keep track of it. Okay.
Well, if that's the challenge, we stopped a long time ago because I think we got it wrong after like 6.
It's incredibly true. Nick DiCarlo, how are you?
I'm wonderful.
You just got back from
South Africa.
South Africa.
Not Syria.
Not Syria. Not Iran.
No.
Not anywhere crazy. We'll talk about your Africa trip here in a minute.
Okay.
This is the Fact Cast. Fact stands for what, Zachary Barberin?
Stands what it's always stand for. Frequent answers and questions.
Frequent answers and questions, indeed. Finally, at the end of the table, we have the man with an opinion of an average fucking person.
Did you say Binion?
Hey, Matt Miller, thanks for having me here. It's an honor to be here.
Hey, Nick. I'm glad you came back. You knew where to go today.
I did.
You showed up right on time.
I sure did.
48 minutes.
Some say I could be
Motherfucking
earlier.
late.
Well, that's right on time for Nick Holguin.
So the Fact Cast is a show where we talk about many random topics, discussions. Sometimes we talk about video games. Sometimes we talk about politics. We talk about sports. But first and foremost, we got to talk about what's going on with Syria. Syria is now back in the news. We cared about it a whole lot with all the refugees. That was like, what? A year ago about? Less than a year ago?
About 2 years.
Less
No, it was
than.
less than a year ago.
over a
Last
year.
time Syria blew up was in the news.
Yes, and then
About a year ago.
Trump also did the whole Syrian.
Right.
Yeah, but
thing, yeah.
I don't know. I feel like Syria has kind of been probably the main issue in the world, with the exception of maybe like Ebola, which took the spotlight for like a year.
Mm-hmm.
But Syria is like
Half a
the
year.
main thing,
For a year?
main problem in the world, I think.
That and the shitty reviews that Mass Effect have been getting.
Well, that and then we keep shooting cops, but we don't care about that anymore for some reason. We don't care about we only care
Well,
about
Pepsi solved
we only
the
care about-
problem.
what?
Pepsi solved the problem.
What was the
the
problem?
Pepsi commercial?
I've not seen that Pepsi commercial.
Oh.
Anyway, focus that.
All right, we can focus.
Even though I pulled us off track.
Zach, open us up with our talk on Syria. You watched a good 7 YouTube videos, everyone. Okay,
You know,
and that's about
wasn't that many, but
that's about the maximum of research.
well,
that
no,
we've
I mean,
done.
I guess it all started this week with the chemical attacks, which was kind of mind blowing. Like, did you guys see those videos? Like on
I didn't
fucking
catch
Facebook?
any of this until we ended up shooting some missiles over. And
Oh
we
my
blew up
god,
some
it was
chemicals.
it was
So
crazy.
Catch me
Like,
up too.
well, there was videos all over Facebook of like bodies laying on the ground after like a chemical attack. Like, one of the videos was just like literally just like dozens of children just like laying down dead.
This is last
This is
night,
like
the 6th.
This is like live leak kind of shit. There was like
Day
I
and a
saw
half
like
ago.
4 or 5 people sharing it on Facebook. I was like, it was kind of shocking to see it on Facebook. Like, I think it's probably better for exposure to like people should be aware of like what's happening in the world. But it was still kind of like eye opening. And then just yesterday, the U.S. sent like 50 missiles.
Well, we
so
sent
I
50
don't know.
missiles and they all landed like within like a minute and a half of each other.
Well,
And we warned Russia and Syria beforehand, but it was like just beforehand.
yeah, we were basically destroying the air base that the attack emanated from,
Mm-hmm.
that they figured out through radar.
So I also heard that Syria, who's in charge of Syria right now?
The Assad regime.
The Assad regime.
well,
It's a civil war, but like
Yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah,
but-
the Assad regime is in
And
power.
they're the ones who had these chemical weapons, right? Basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I heard that
And Russia put them in power, I think, a while ago. I think in the 70s. Russia basically
don't
put
know
the
if-
Assad regime
I
in
don't know if
power.
Russia put them in power, but
They're supposed to check up on him.
But
right?
yeah, I know that like this one family's been like in power since I think like since after like right after World War One. So like what 1920 maybe or maybe 1930? I don't know.
I'm checking
It was
on my
the-
cheat guide right now.
Yeah, it was like Bashar al-Assad or no?
Mhm.
I don't know, but Assad's like father was the leader
Yeah.
of Syria, and then after the Arab Spring, instead of them like stepping down, they like retaliated on their own citizens, And that was in like 2000, I think like 11. Don't you guys
2010, there was the Free Syrian Army, and they began fighting the Sunni Muslims, the civil war. And 100,000 people have died as of July 2013.
Yeah.
201 million Syrian refugees have had to flee to Jordan, Iraq, Lebanon, and Turkey.
Yeah, it's just like it's a total humanitarian like fuck up. Like there's a lot of people that are just like regular people that are caught in the middle of this.
Oh, I know.
And it's like totally fucking sad and just depressing. But like, what's the answer? You know what I mean? Like what
I think you
what
just
do you
gotta,
guys think? What do you guys think? What do you guys think that the U.S. should do, or what do you guys think the world should do?
Or do you think we have to do anything?
The issue is it's kind of a, pardon the slightly derogatory name, but it's kind of like a Mexican standoff. You know, everybody's kind of pointing a gun at each other.
Hey,
like I said, pardon the.
Nick. Mexican standoffs. Okay, you know what they're like. You've been in a few of them
on a regular basis.
So, civil wars are always the worst, right? Because like they're really
when we had our civil war, America won.
I mean, that's true, but that's the way. God, this is like the dumbest thing you possibly say where you can't disagree with you.
I'm pretty sure like the Civil War was the bloodiest war in American history.
Yeah, exactly.
But the main problem is we can't retaliate because we're going to piss off Russia by retaliating.
Well, why would we exactly piss off Russia? Doesn't Russia know?
Because Russia is like...
There are two things to unpack in that question.
Because Russia likes having the Assad in power. For one.
Yeah, and they're supporting the Assad regime.
Yeah.
Even if they fuck up. Even if they're doing fucked up shit.
Yeah, well, Russia's doing fucked up shit, so it kind of,
Yeah.
Bird in the hand is worth two in the
bush.
Bush.
So it's basically like we have two gigantic superpowers getting upset over one little fucking...
In the mix of this, you also have ISIS, which is like another...
Oh, yeah, they're like
another group that's like fighting for control of Syria. Like, it's pretty crazy. And I think there's also another group that's kind of separate as well, like another separate faction. And so it's just crazy. It's like there's like this huge like clusterfuck. But like I know that God, I don't know. It's just for me it's depressing because I'm not a religious person at all. And I just feel like religion is just like a fucked up thing, and I know that has a lot to do with it because Assad he's like his regime is like one type of like Muslim.
Yeah, there's the Shiites, the Sunnis.
Like the Sunnis.
I don't know the difference.
The Sunnis, them. I think, is like the majority, and so like the Assad regime is like they're like a minority.
Yeah.
Within the greater area, and so it's just like it just seems kind of fucked up.
Isn't that so weird though? Because like in like our society in the West, in Europe, in many places where you have like religions that are very very close, but you obviously are like, no, I'm Christian, I am not Catholic.
Yeah.
But it's not like I'm Christian and I hate Catholics. It's just like, no, Catholics are cool. They believe it. They go to church, Yeah, maybe they think that it's different, but it's not like...
Yeah, but you still... You have fucked... Just like religion in general is just fucked up to me, in my opinion. Because you also have like... You go back to like Ireland in like what, the 60s, and like you had like Irish Catholic and like the Protestants were like...
Yeah.
We're like at war with one another.
That was awful
like,
back then. But it wasn't so much... That wasn't so much about religion. That was more about... the freedom of Ireland and not being part of the UK.
Yeah, but I think it also.
I mean, it's very religious.
Yeah,
like you cross that border and it's different. But I mean, I guess
it's just like an additional thing. In my mind, it's just an additional thing to like help. Like segregate people, separate people, and like get people in that mindset.
Oh, it totally is.
Like, it's us versus them, and like it's just like such a shitty thing because at the end of the day, and I mean, maybe this is a cheesy thing to say. I mean, but at the end of the day, we're all fucking human beings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so like. At the end of the day, it's like, and that's another thing that like I think is kind of shitty is like so many people that are so anti-refugee, like what the fuck? These are like human beings. Like there's a lot of normal ass people that are highly educated that are like all of a sudden their country's just fucked. Like what do you expect them to do?
Mm-hmm. Well, going back to your topic, you said of like it's just another thing that we can like segregate ourselves with. It's so interesting because religion is a totally like, like having religious differences, like your belief differences, we'll just call it that, and how that separates you apart. Like that's such just a human thing that we just made up. I mean, clearly there's men and women, and then, the whole rest of the pile that we want to call people now. I'm not saying that in a mean fucking way. I'm just saying, like, I'm just going to insult people if I try to, like, name all of the pronouns correctly. So, obviously, we're different like that. Men are different from women. We have different body parts and stuff. If you compare, like, my skin versus Nick's skin, a little bit tanner, you're a Creole, so you have, like, a different background. Black people, white people, Asian people, everything. So that's just, innate in nature. But that wasn't enough for us. We're like, we got to come up with a third thing to go to war and hate each other over. And that third thing is, what do you believe? What do you think is the reason why we're here? You don't fucking think it's the sun god? It's definitely the sun god.
What team do you support?
And I'm not saying anything against religion. I know lots of great people who are religious, and it is their rock, and it is their lives, and it does amazing things for them. But it has hurt our planet probably more than it has helped our planet.
Yeah. Religion is designed, for the most part, for one thing, and that's for the few to control the many.
Well, sure, yeah.
I guess so.
I think that you could say that you could argue that it's about money, that it's about power.
Yeah,
that it's about,
exactly. It's about control.
But you would get a religion if you had a person here who went to church all the time. They would say, "No, it's about telling other people that you can live a better life and community." Yeah, exactly.
But that's
I do agree. I do agree with that to a degree. I mean, I've witnessed that, but I feel like we need to get away from that mindset of like relying on religion, because there's so much bullshit that goes along with it, of just like trying to follow like a fucking written book.
Well, this isn't a discussion about religion. This is a discussion about Syria.
That's true. Yeah.
So let's get back on topic.
Well, it's fine. I just have more to say about random.
So getting back on topic with Syria, like, what do we do? What does the U.S. do? What does the world do? I mean, what's the approach we take here? Because, like, it seems like this is, like, there's no end in sight.
Yeah. I don't think there will ever be an end in sight of random shit that's going on, but it just seems like in the past, like, 30 years or so, just the Middle East has been, like, the main focus of the world's problems. I'm not saying do something in the Middle East. No, I'm not going down that road. What I'm saying is there's always going to be a thing, and right now, this is just a different part like D of the war with the Middle East that's been going on since the 60s? Yeah. 70s-ish? 70s.
Well, it part of me thinks that it's just, and I mean, I've heard this term being thrown around, is just like that it's become like a proxy war between the U.S. and Russia. It's just like a way for them to have a conflict without directly having conflict.
Which we've been doing with them for on and off for the last 30 years.
The whole Cold War.
Yeah, I mean, it just sucks. Cause, I mean, and my take on it is like, fucking A, like, we got to figure out a way to take in more refugees, because this is totally a fucked up problem in the world. And like, for me, like, 100 years from now, like, I would want history to be written that way, that the U.S. like did a lot, took in a lot of refugees, and like, saved a lot of people, because I know percentage wise, like the U.S. and other countries in Europe, we have so much more money in comparison to, like, I think Jordan has taken in the most refugees, and like we have like 100 times their GDP. And so it's just like, it's totally twisted. And I understand that Jordan's a lot closer geographically. I'm sure that has a lot to do with it, but also like props to them for like helping out their fellow man,
Yeah, absolutely. It's weird that the refugee thing has like become like another like example of like a political question. It's like, what side of the fence are you on? It's kind of like, it was like stem cell research, and abortions, and now like it's should the U.S. take? But the thing is, should the U.S. take in people in need? Well, that seems a little more black. I mean, when you say it that way, it seems a lot more black and white. But then there's the Donald Trump argument, which is,
well, fear.
It's
fear and ignorance.
Yeah, if one in 10,000, I don't know. I can't even make it a statistic. I would say one like 10,000, 5,000
like a terrorist
is crazy. Well, how many Americans are one in 10,000?
But I know that a lot of the terrorist attacks that have already happened aren't from like refugees or immigrants. Like a lot of them, like I'm pretty sure the terrorist attacks were from people that were fucking born in Paris or born in France. I'm pretty sure. I mean,
I don't know if that's not true, but there are people who are born in France and they may be of whatever.
Well, like the Orlando nightclub was a guy who's born in the U.S.
Yeah, but what was his ethnicity though? He was like picked up by ISIS, right?
Yeah,
he was manipulated by them.
But the argument is just that it's not so much like bringing refugees does not increase terrorism. That's the argument that I'm trying to say. But like it just seems like I'm really pretty certain that the U.S. has taken in like maybe not the least because I think Saudi Arabia and
I've seen
and a few of those other countries haven't taken fucking any refugees in, and they're fucking right there. It's like, what the fuck? But I also am interested in like the economic impact because I know that there's a lot of citizens from for a lot of Syrian refugees that are like highly educated. That if you bring them over here, like put them to work and like they'll help our economy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And
Nick Holguin, I want to know your thoughts. You've just been
taking it
sitting
all
over there
in.
in silence. Okay, what did we hit on? Did we hit on refugees? We hit on. What do we do about Syria? These are all questions. I want to answer questions from you.
All right.
And then
Nick, I'm going to give you a specific question.
Okay.
Not what should we do, but was Trump right in sending that attack or wrong?
Fucking around a little. He wasn't fucking around, but it was.
I think he was right.
You think he was right to bomb?
I think he was right too. I think he was right too. I think they were about to fuck some shit up. Did you hear the people who got sent to the hospital? Like the survivors of the gassing that happened, before we blew up all the rest of the gas. They went to a hospital and the hospital was bombed by Assad, trying to cover it up or something. Like I don't understand what I don't even know how that's a fucking thing. Could you imagine that happening in the United States?
I mean, I'm leaning towards that side because I do think that. It just seems like the U.S. has to get involved in some way, but it's so touchy though because if we kill any Russians, then all of a sudden that would give Russia grounds to try to retaliate.
Could you imagine if a Russian person killed an American person here? Do you know how we'd all get our fucking pitchforks and be like, "Are you fucking Donald Trump?
It's just
it's all your fault." But I don't know why.
I am also interested in just how effective was it? What was the attack? Because I think it just
we didn't even
just fucked up one of the bases.
We screwed up an air base. We didn't even completely annihilate it. We put a dent in. We basically destroyed some of the buildings on the air base.
It was more of just
And I just find it also. I just also find it very interesting on the Donald Trump front because he is so much I'm going to keep my plans to myself. Why would I get up? Because whenever asked, what would you do about this? Well, why would I get up here and talk about what I'm going to do? Because if I talk about it on the news, that'll just give whoever I'm planning on doing something time to.
So in not his defense, but I'm just saying what I'm trying to understand the situation is that Barack Obama would give a shitload of warning that we were going to do something a days in advance or something like that when we were trying to kill someone. And I'm not saying that isn't a fucking.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good thing to do. Let everyone else in the fucking area get out, and if we don't hit him, we don't hit him. But it's we don't want to kill innocent people.
Yeah.
Donald Trump, on the other hand, I heard he did it a couple hours beforehand or something, and then they were shot, and then they.
Yeah, that's also kind of a scary thought, isn't it? Having a leader that's just trigger happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I just
Obama was trigger. I mean, all of our presidents are trigger happy.
Yeah, but I think the big thing with Obama,
the United States in general is trigger happy.
But I think the big thing with Obama, do you guys remember this when everything first started happening with Syria and there was the first talks of chemical?
I wasn't really paying a whole lot of attention.
I think it happened in 2012 or 13.
Yeah.
And I remember when this happened because there was talks all of a sudden of the U.S. getting involved in Syria, and the American public was fuck no, they didn't want to do anything. And so
even
Obama
Trump was against it.
And Donald Trump exactly
was
said
against it.
you're an idiot for even considering it. You should never get involved. Let that business be theirs. He was
but
staunchly
who knows
against
though?
it. Until 3 months into his presidency, and let's bomb the shit out of him.
Yeah, totally.
I don't think it was Donald Trump. I think it was people advising him. Probably a little bit of Congress. I mean, I'm not saying Congress wasn't.
He never even consulted Congress.
He didn't. Oh no, I heard about that too.
You're supposed to consult Congress before you bomb fucking Syria. I do know that.
Just the whole thing is though that who knows what could have happened if the U.S. would have gotten involved back then? because maybe if the U.S. would have like flexed some power a little bit back then,
this wouldn't have happened.
Maybe it wouldn't have even like gone to the level that it's gone. And like I know that this is this is kind of like the belief of like there's a lot of people that were critics of Obama and his foreign policy, was that like this was one of them, is like he really fucked up the whole take on that by not getting involved in Syria back then, because I don't think Russia was that involved at that time. Like, so we could have had that chance to just go in there, flex some power, and maybe the idea was to overtake Assad. I don't know, but it just seems like I don't know. It's just such a fucked up thing that's happened, and it's just hard to say like what's the right decision.
Yeah, it's nearly impossible. You just have to do something and hope it's the right
I think what's going to happen is. So I guess Russia's in charge. God, it's so fucking weird because Russia is now in charge of the people that we want to fucking kick out. And in the normal situation, what happens is a country's being dumped somewhere. We go in, we get rid of the leader, and we say, capitalism, fucking democracy, elect somebody. They elect somebody, and he's like, I'm a douchebag too, you know. And it's just like, and the United States is like, well, come on, Saddam, you were cool.
You know what's really weird about, just speaking of Saddam Hussein, so I used to work with a lot of, back at the Persian room. No, but I worked with a lot of people from the Middle East, and they all spoke very highly of Saddam Hussein.
Really?
Yeah. It's really weird.
Yeah, it's a shitty thing though, because it's like if the U.S. did try to go in there and overthrow Assad, then that would just create another fucking power vacuum, and just like to see who else gets in there, and it's just shitty. It's just a shitty thing, and like the saddest thing for me is just like the innocent people who like don't even really want to be involved, who aren't really radicalized on either side, who just want to like live a regular fucking life.
Yeah, well,
and they're caught up in the midst of it, and like it's just really sad because we're all humans at the end of the day, and we're fucking running around killing people for
stop killing
really
people.
Really dumb reasons.
Hey, even in the 90s, the Bosnian War was awful.
Fuck the Bosnians. All right, guys. When we return, so we're going to talk about.
Can I have a last closing thought?
That was your last closing thought.
We do need a closing thought.
No, fuck the Bosnians.
Basically, like this isn't over. This is going to keep happening, and we should definitely revisit this topic like in like 6 months, because this is probably the biggest issue in the world. Yeah. Other than like you could say climate change is huge as well. But this is like biggest humanitarian.
Yeah, we lost the climate change battle though. That's not.
we're
fucked on that.
Actually, you know what?
Climate change battle, everyone. When we return, we're going to talk about what's happening with the left, social justice warriors. We're going to talk a little bit about technology.
Yes.